Hey YouTube, this is Marcus or Garrowin again with another video. Today we're going to be changing the idler pulley on my 1999 Dodge Dakota. It has the 3.9 liter V6 and it sat for about 4 or 5 months because the air conditioner compressor went out on it. And since it was cold weather, we didn't really need the pickup at the time. I just didn't bother fooling with it, and so now that it's nice weather, I've got some work that needs to be done. I just went ahead and removed the air conditioner compressor and put a bypass pulley in. And I noticed that something was squeaking and making noise. And before the air conditioner compressor issue, I noticed there was a very slight drop in takeoff power. And then there was the noise after I put in the bypass pulley and everything. And I was never quite able to track down what it was. I've replaced the belt because I noticed the belt was tracking back and forth on the water pump, but the water pump pulley itself wasn't moving. So I thought, okay, well maybe the belt warped over the time that it was sitting there several months without actually being ran. So I replaced the belt, and then that quietened it down for a little bit, but then the issue cropped right back up, and I have narrowed it down to this idler pulley right here. And the bearings inside this pulley are shot, so we're going to replace that today. Alright, so let's see if it'll actually start. It actually died when I was backing it into my parking spot here, but let's see if it'll start so you can hear what it sounds like. Alright, so the tools I'm going to be using for this job are a 15mm wrench for the tensioner pulley, a 9/16 socket and extension to remove the idler pulley itself, the new idler pulley that's going to go on in its place, and this part's not necessary, but I'm going to do it because it makes me feel better. I want to put some synthetic grease on the bolt that holds it into position. And of course, because of that, I've got some latex gloves and some shop towels to clean up after myself. So the first order of business here, take our 15mm wrench, put it on the nut here. I don't know if you can see it. There's the tensioner pulley here. We're going to put it there, and we're going to pull toward the driver's side until the belt loosens enough for us to slip it off of. Let's take it off of my bypass pulley. That might make life a little easier here. There we go. Alright, so now the belt's loose. Alright, so now let's spin the fan around so we've got a gap, pretty good gap. There we go. Now just to demonstrate the problem, you hear that? And every once in a while it would just bind up all together and it killed the engine. We'll go here. Now, if you don't have a 9/16, the 15mm wrench fits it close enough that you might be able to use the 15mm wrench, but it's a 9/16 socket is what fits it perfectly. There we go. Now once this comes out, you want to watch, because you see there's the bolt, but there's also this big washer right there. You don't want to lose those, because at least in my case, the new pulley did not come with one, so we're going to have to reuse the old washer and bolt. And you've also got, there's the bearing. Look, here's the problem right here. That's a ball bearing, and they should be evenly spaced and round all the way around this. This should be here as a cover to hold them in position and to keep the grease in there. So they had literally like, oh, there went one of them. They were just done. They were shot. So let's go ahead and lay this old thing off to the side. Alrighty, let's open our new one up here. See, there's the new one. Alright, so here's one thing I'm going to do to make myself feel a little better. I'm going to take and put a latex glove on. And I'm going to take some of my synthetic grease here and I'm going to put a coat. Now these bearings are already greased internally. I'm not greasing it for that. I'm just greasing anywhere there's going to be a metal on metal contact around here, like the washer against the back of it. So I'm just going to put some grease all around here and anywhere where it's going to be touching something, because the bearings are greased internally, but I like grease anywhere there's two metal parts touching that are going to be moving relative to each other. I like to have grease. And installing the new one is the reverse of taking the old one off. You just put the bolt through with the washer like that, and then just line it up with the bolt hole that the old one came off of. Tighten her back up. And then once it makes contact here, we're just kind of give it a good and then make sure it spins freely. Spins just fine. No back and forth play this way, so we've got her tightened on there good. One more time, just for good measure, just kind of. Alright. I'm going to take a shop towel here and clean off that excess grease we got right there. Alright. Grab our 15mm wrench. Let's put our belt back into position here. Alright. Everything else looks like it's lined up correctly. Pull on the tensioner pulley and put our belt back where it's supposed to be. Alright, we got good tension on our pulley. Everything looks like it's lined up correctly. So let's test her. Oh, that's much better. We want to look at the belt from the side, and we want to see, is the belt tracking back and forth anywhere? Or any of the pulleys moving back and forth? Everything looks like it's running all right. So that's how you replace the idler pulley on a 1999 Dodge Dakota. This one is the 3.9 liter V6 with the sport body on it. And I just noticed, to be fair, this is pretty bad. Like, there's bearings that were completely missing besides the one that fell out. And I just recently started noticing a problem because, well, as you can see, most of the bearings look all right. But it ran fine. It didn't make any noise until just recently. I noticed a little bit of a drop in takeoff power, and then after I let it set for a while, it started making noise when I started it again. But I mean, it got this far before I started noticing a problem. So just, I guess that's something to check when you're doing your preventative maintenance checks and services. I never thought to check that because the engine was running fine. The pulleys, it wasn't tracking back and forth. There was no back and forth movement or anything. But I guess that's something to check, you know, for future reference. Now I know when I'm under the hood doing an oil change or something like that, check my pulleys, make sure they spin freely. Because just because the engine is able to turn it over doesn't necessarily mean it's not binding up in some way. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this little project. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, please feel free to post them in the comment section below. And as always, this is Marcus out. Y'all have a good one.